If the NATO aggressors finally do seize effective control of Libya after 5 months of heroic resistance by the Libyan army, the world will enter an even more dangerous period. The Obama administration now believes it's found the formula that will allow it to pick up where George Bush was interrupted in the unconstrained use of American force in the world. This is the mission Barack Obama auditioned for as a candidate when he vowed to build international coalitions that would endorse U.S. war policies rather than go it alone. Obama did not promise to be a more peaceful president. Rather, he assured the Pentagon that he would be more effective in getting U.S. allies to go along with Washington's wars as willing accomplices. This is why we at Black Agenda Report predicted more than 2 years ago that the emerging Obama war doctrine would rely heavily on the insidious, illegal construct called Responsibility to Protect, or R2P. Responsibility to Protect turns international law on its head, allowing militarily powerful countries to claim a moral and legal responsibility to interfere in weaker nations' internal affairs in order to protect the people from their own government. Short of well-founded and broadly accepted evidence of genocide, there is no place for R2P in international law. But with the U.S. invasion and occupation of Haiti in 2004, the U.S., France, and Canada sought to justify effectively stripping Haiti of its sovereignty on the grounds of responsibility to protect its people. First, from the elected president, whom the Americans deposed and exiled, and then, apparently, from the Haitian people themselves. From the U.S. perspective, the R2P scam worked like a charm. The United Nations Secretary General lent his seal of approval to the occupation and endorsed Washington's interpretation of the responsibility to protect. The newly minted International Criminal Court became an arm of U.S. foreign policy, concocting rationales for the U.S. to take out foreign leaders that might harm their own citizens. The U.S. succeeded in getting Brazil and other countries that should have known better to join in the occupation of Haiti, all under the rubric of R2P. When Barack Obama was elected, much of the world hoped that he would seek to lessen world tensions by working with other nations for peaceful resolutions of conflict. But Obama's intentions were just the opposite: to build coalitions that would make it easier for the United States to justify aggression, using responsibility to protect as a cover. If it worked in Haiti, why not anywhere else? When the Arab Spring struck terror in the hearts of Europe and the U.S., Obama quickly created a coalition between NATO and the Saudi Arabians and other royal Arab thieves to show who was really the boss in the region. Although there was never the slightest threat of Muammar Gaddafi committing anything remotely resembling genocide in Libya, the U.S., Europe, and the scum of the Persian Gulf successfully invoked responsibility to protect. International law was made into its opposite. The Haitian precedent had now become a war-making doctrine with its own built-in rationale. Obama has become Bush, only with more allies and a more civilized-sounding justification. The only question is, who's the next alleged enemy of the people? For Black Agenda Radio, I'm Glenn Ford. On the web, go to www.blackagendareport.com. The story is not over, not by a long shot. But the saga of the Libyan resistance to the superpower might of the United States and its degenerate European neocolonial allies will surely occupy a very special place in history. For 5 months, beginning March 19th, the armed forces of a small country of 6 million people dared to defy the most advanced weapon systems on the planet, on terrain with virtually no cover, against an enemy capable of killing whatever could be seen from the sky or electronically sensed. Night and day, the eyes of the Euro-American war machine look down from space on the Libyan soldiers' positions with the aim of incinerating them. And yet, the Libyan armed forces maintained their unit integrity and personal honor with a heroism reminiscent of the loyalist soldiers of the Spanish Republic under siege by German, Italian, and homegrown fascists back in the late 1930s. The Germans and Italians and Generalissimo Franco won that war, just as the Americans, British, French, and Italians may ultimately overcome the Libyan army. But they cannot convey honor or national legitimacy to their flunkies from Benghazi, who have won nothing but a badge of servitude to foreign overseers. The so-called rebels won not a single battle, except as walk-ons to a Euro-American military production. They are little more than extras for imperial theater, a mob that traveled to battle under the protective umbrella of American full-spectrum dominance of the air. They advanced along roads already littered with the charcoal-blackened bodies of far better men who died challenging empire. One thing is sure, the Americans and Europeans have never respected their servants. The so-called rebels of Libya will be no different. Washington, Paris, and London know perfectly well that it was their 18,000 aircraft sorties, their cruise missiles, their attack helicopters, their surveillance satellites and drones, their command and control systems, their weapons, and their money that managed to kill or wound possibly half the Libyan army, not the rabble from Benghazi. The rebels should not take too seriously being fawned over by the ridiculous hordes of corporate media tourists that have come to Tripoli to record the 5-month war's finale. They are highly paid cheerleaders, and although it may appear that they're cheering for the rebels, don't be fooled. At the end of the day, the Western corporate media only cheer for their own kind. They are celebrating what they believe is a victory over the Libyan demon that they have helped construct in their own countrymen's minds. Next year, rebel, that demon might be you. Or next year, it might be many Libyans, including those who were no friends of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. The Americans treat their native minions like children in need of supervision. And there is a certain logic to this, since whoever would entrust his nation's sovereignty and resources to the Americans is surely either exceedingly stupid or hopelessly corrupt. But Libya's honor and her place in history has already been secured by a small African army that held out nearly half a year against the NATO barbarians. For Black Agenda Radio, I'm Glenn Ford. On the web, go to www.blackagendareport.com.